I think you always do it. I should do it.
All right, let's go ahead.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Just Be Creative Podcast. I'm Katie.
And I'm Krist.
And we are married. I am a portrait photographer. And Christopher, what do you do?
Hey, did one of our kids just come down?
Probably. We also have children.
We record after they go to sleep.
Which is funny because a lot of people ask us that, like, how do y'all do that with the kids? And I'm like, it's called they go to sleep. We would never do this while they were awake,
Right.
which sounds like one of them might be. So.
But it's also part of the reason why it's hard to record, because we have to wait. And we don't have a shed yet or an office.
Yet. But if you would like to donate
to the Just Be Creative Pod. She should.
We will accept your donation. You will not get a tax write-off, though.
No. And I, as a vocation, that's the least awkward way of saying that. For the
Most succinct, for sure.
The thing I do for money during the day, it's been the majority of my life laboring towards in order to pay for food and housing and whatnot.
Shoot me now.
Is
Shoot me. Somebody please come rescue
the thing that I do during the day. I'm a marketing manager.
This is just going to be a 30-minute podcast on what we do for a living.
Yeah, well, we haven't done the podcast about my story yet. So
I've been asking for it.
And then, but also freelance as an illustrator and designer and I guess like a animator now. A lot of...
Yeah, you've been doing a lot of animation work. What I tell people is that you're an artist, but that you pay the mortgage by being a marketing and brand manager.
Oh, she should have just answered for me, as usual. Well, tonight, we had a couple of things planned to talk about, but then we started having like a real conversation.
I don't know if I want to be this vulnerable.
And I was like, hey, how about we podcast it? So...
It has nothing to do with being creative, though.
It has to do with your job.
It has to do with being human.
Yeah. So, I mean, it doesn't have to be an hour long, which we say every time. 45 minutes later.
Thank you. Welcome to our 3-part series on what Katie's struggling with right now.
Well, okay, so we were about to podcast, and you were seeming a little tense.
A little tense.
And
wait, 1 second. Speaking of.
That's sweet tea. Apple juice. You seemed a little tense, and this is why we normally put water in here.
I thought I was going to drink it before we started.
So I was just...
What do you mean I seemed a little tense, love?
Just, I can tell. Body language. Like, sometimes you seem like a normal human being, and then sometimes you seem like... I can't move my arms like a robot. That is also a little bit angry, but trying not to be. But is also beautiful.
You didn't notice that video I sent to Alanis's last night? Okay, so in the video I sent Alanis's last night, it was of our 9-year-old playing the harmonica. And at the end I said, "That was beautiful, baby." And Jolie responded, that's our friends in Iowa, they're Alanis's, and the wife's name is Jolie. Jolie responded, "That's beautiful, baby." She responded like totally tired or something. So she picked up on it because you were like, "Oh, you seem tense." I was like, "I haven't felt like myself." So you've been missing all the cues. Normally, when my child plays the harmonica, I'm like, "Get it, girl! This is the best ever!
Okay. Well,
I love your harmonica playing. I'm so glad your dad bought you that."
when I was in Memphis, Royce. Okay, so what she actually is implying there is that you said you haven't felt normal for the last week and a half, and now you're, proclaiming to the world that I didn't pick up on it. Well,
you can't win because if you say you did pick up on it, then it's offensive. But so just own whatever.
The reason we were discussing it, or the reason I brought it up, is because we were about the podcast, more specifically, and I was just trying to see if it was an appropriate time to do it.
You were like, "Are you gonna be able to do this tonight?" And I said, when am I ever going to be able to do it? And then your
Right.
face was like, what do you mean? And I was like, I mean, just got to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I just got to do it. Do I feel like podcasting right now? No, I do not. I feel like laying in the bed and watching Narcos. That's what I want to do. But here I am.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm going to feel like wanting to do every night.
Right.
Because I like being lazy.
Well, it is.
And eating popcorn.
It's 9:15.
And I've worked all day.
Right.
And I made a delicious dinner. Mm-hmm. A homemade delicious dinner. And the kitchen is pretty much picked up from it. There's still a couple of things.
Yeah. I appreciate you.
And I did laundry. And I raised your kids.
Right.
I'm sorry. Yes.
No, it's okay.
No, but I haven't felt like myself. I've been...
Oh, you're apologizing to them.
Out of sorts. Yeah, for about a week now.
Okay, so, not that this is a preface exactly, but this is your busiest time of year. So we're recording this right now. This is the last week of October. Mm-hmm. And by the way, welcome back. You're over your sickness. So the last 2 episodes we had a guest.
Because I had a double ear infection.
Yep. Which normally does happen.
In October,
which is the beginning of your busy season.
Yeah. And the cool thing about being an entrepreneur, guys, is you don't get sick days.
What about being a mom-entrepreneur?
Even more don't get sick days. Yeah. Which y'all have done a really good job of. Like last week, see, that's the thing. I don't think I'm not giving myself enough grace because when I think about it, last week, remember there was a day and you came home and I was like, I just have to sleep. And like, I went to sleep and like you came woke me up for dinner. I was like, you want dinner? And I was like, I don't want dinner. Like, so I feel like maybe I am working a lot and also health is always a problem. Also, like I have a neuromuscular disorder. Gosh, I'm like really getting into it with you guys. That causes chronic pain, which it's actually I feel like we've had it is like a group effort though. We've kind of learned this together, but I've been managing that very well. But I guess if I think about the past 4 weeks, health wise, this hasn't been the best. Mm-hmm. Things out of my control, like the ear infections and antibiotic, being on a steroid, all that fun stuff. So maybe, I don't know, like I feel like I do, and that's why I was like, maybe I just need to talk it out because I'm beating myself up because I'm like, you want to be lazy tonight instead of doing your podcast. And so my negative self-talk is telling me that I'm lazy. Right. And, but then I was telling you like too, I'm stressed out about work because it's busy and we are going on a trip soon. Mm-hmm. And that's causing me a lot of stress because that's going to be 4 days that I can't work, which is on one hand wonderful and magical. I'm going to have 4 days where I don't have to work. But on the other hand is I am taking a vacation in the middle of busy season. What the heck am I thinking of? But what I had told you, I said this.
I'm going to bleep that out so people are going to think you actually said a naughty word.
Do that. So, and that's at this point when I said this phrase is when you said we should talk about it because I said, but you know what? Like I'm getting myself all worked up about work, and I am busy. I'm working a lot, but I'm not behind on anything. Everything's on time. Which I might have some clients who listen to this and are like, no, you're not. But according to what's in the paperwork, I haven't been late on anything.
Right.
I'm on time for everything. I got to keep working like this to keep up on time, but nothing is behind, which is not where I was at this point last fall. A lot of stuff got behind. There were some class pictures that didn't get delivered until months later, like months after they were promised. Months, y'all. Months. And I still have clients. Like, people still like me even though I'm months late on things. Like, what in the world? I would be giving myself some attitude if I were y'all. Y'all are so sweet to me and I love y'all so much.
Man, there's a lot.
Yeah, and I still have a lot more on my mind.
Yeah, but man, I don't even know how to attempt. Like, I want to have a conversation with you.
You should have been taking notes.
Like we were having we're really having this conversation right now.
Yeah.
You just said that I was late on my work. But people still like me.
Ooh. You should be a licensed practical counselor. How did you pick up on that? Oh, pause.
Again, while we normally have water. Okay.
That's why we should drink it as fast as we can.
Do you think that is there maybe some of that's like the pressure on you, or
the pressure for people to like me?
Because, and I think that I'm not saying that it's not a good thing to have, because you are your brand. Like,
yes.
You are your company.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're your marketing department. I mean, of course, like, I help out with stuff, which is also part of the reason that I started this conversation, but that's for another time. You're your own marketing department, you're your own accounting department, you're your photographer, you're your photo editor, you're all of that.
Mm-hmm.
You're your driver. You package the prints, like.
Oh, my mom helped me, though. That was really sweet.
Thanks, Miss Stephanie.
Shout out to my mama. She came to my house. She packaged prints for me, and also did my laundry.
Mm-hmm.
Very sweet.
It was very nice. Yeah, thank you, Miss Stephanie, for helping. It was a big help. But you are everything that happens with your company is essentially more or less up to you.
Yeah.
So
I'm my admin too. And let me just tell you what my admin has: 63 unread text messages, 4 missed calls, and 237 unread emails.
Well, yeah, we were supposed to, I don't know if we're going to tonight, we were supposed to talk about how we plan things. But, maybe there's a lot of that goes into anxiety, right? Like, if things seem out of sort and like you're behind and like you're always trying to catch up, then there is the anxiety that I don't know how to say that word. The anxiety that goes along with that, like just on top of everything else. But again, of course, any anxiousness that would be on you has to be on you, because it's not going to be on anybody else.
Yeah, but it's interesting that I'm feeling all this anxiousness, even though I'm not behind. Where, like I said, last year at this time I was behind. Like last year at this time I couldn't keep up, and last year I overbooked myself, and I knew when I was doing it I was overbooking myself, but I did anyways because we had financial goals we want to meet, and it's hard when I do have that flexibility to make money, when I see the need to make the money, not to do that. So I knew I was overbooking myself, but I did it anyways. That led to me being behind on stuff. That led to me having a lot of anxiety. Now, I've put things in measure. So I did not overbook myself this fall. I am not behind on anything. Everything is on time. Everything is running smoothly. All my orders, even so far, have come back correct. Which is, it's going to happen. Someone's going to mess up the lab. Oh no, the lab did mess up a bunch of stuff for one of my high schools. But I was so far ahead of schedule that it didn't matter. And then they kept messing up. It was a mess. But I was so quick with it that it didn't matter. And I guess I'm just wondering why I have all this anxiety if I'm not behind schedule. But I will say this.
Okay.
And this is like getting real raw, because like this is like legit us having a conversation that we haven't had yet, and y'all are going to get to view this, and maybe it has to be deleted. But you told me that you didn't want me to have another fall like last fall. Like you were like, we can't do that again. Like it's not good for our family, for our marriage, for you, for me individually. Like we can't have a fall like that again. And I'm not going to cry. But I think I'm putting a lot of pressure on myself. It's like I'm having anxiety about making sure that I don't get to high anxiety, because I don't want to make y'all feel like I've overextended myself. Which we kind of had a similar conversation the other day, which was like, this time of year, like I'm going to have to miss out on some things. Like I can't do, this time of year, I can't do everything. I can't be as involved as I normally am. And like, just so, gosh, I feel like there's just so much we could talk about here, because just for reference, like probably it wasn't until 2 or 3 years ago that this time of the year, it used to be I wouldn't even eat dinner with y'all. at this time of year. I was working literally even at dinner. And
so meaning that I come home, like I work a full day. I come home, I cook dinner. Me and the kids eat dinner together, probably, and you eat at your desk.
Yeah, I would eat dinner at my desk while y'all eat dinner. I could hear y'all having dinner at the table, and I was at my desk eating dinner. So that's something that we realized wasn't cool and that neither of us were okay with. So, like, even in that busiest time, I can't remember the last time that y'all had dinner at the table that I've had dinner upstairs. So I don't even know if I'm making sense. All that to say, like, we have a conversation today where I felt like I felt like you were putting guilt on me, or because there was something I had missed out on, and I was like, I'm gonna have to miss out on stuff. Like, do you not see the changes I've made? Like, I know I missed, and I can't even remember what it was at this point. Isn't that the funny thing about fights? Is that sometimes, like, that's how insignificant they are. Like, the people that we love the most, we get in these little arguments, and I can't even remember what it is that I had missed, but you were making me feel guilty for missing it. And I was like, I don't make you feel guilty when you miss stuff. Like, you've done conventions where you've been away all weekend, or how much stuff at the kids' school have you missed? Like, you miss picking the kids up from school every day because you have to do your job. Like, I would never make you feel bad for that. But you sometimes make me feel bad for the things I have to miss out on. So a lot of much trust is you. I didn't mean that as I mean as a sound. Is anything I'm saying making sense?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it sounds like all of the problems are me.
What's new? Welcome to our world.
Well, I'm used to hearing that, but I'm not used to you
No, I'm just
telling
saying.
everybody that
Okay.
you feel like I'm the worst person in the world.
That ain't what I said. That is not what I said, and y'all heard it. And he can't edit this like some chopped up, Christopher, you suck and I hate you and you need to move out the house. Like, I never said that.
Could have cut everything but that.
I said it in a robot voice so everyone would know it wasn't me.
Right. Yeah.
Did that hurt your feelings?
Well, I mean, was there any resolution to that conversation?
Is this episode going to be called Chris and Katie Hash It Out? Yeah, I feel like we reached a good point. Like,
okay, well then could you, from your standpoint, give the... what was the good point that we reached? Because it doesn't really sound like...
Okay, I was just trying to explain the situation to them because they didn't hear that conversation.
Yeah.
Okay,
but you...
we reached the resolution that sometimes...
Okay, but I just want to say, like, you gave them all the stuff that apparently I've been...
Okay, well then you give your side of the story.
But you said I made you feel a certain way. Mm-hmm. And then that was the end of it.
How did that make you feel when we had that conversation?
Okay, well, but you didn't say... Can you give what you feel like the resolution to that was?
Yeah, the resolution was you had said that sometimes you are grumpy. And that you talk out of line sometimes. And you talk grumpy sometimes. You admitted that.
Okay.
But also something about me. Okay, no, I just have to think about it.
Okay.
Help me remember.
Well, I don't want to influence what you're going to say right now because I want to know.
Okay, but like, I mean, there's always room. There's always room for improvement.
Okay, yeah, sure.
And
well, who we're talking about?
Me, okay. For me.
Okay.
And
I make you feel bad, and that's the reason you're anxious.
I have made a lot of improvements on putting boundaries on work, and like work stops now. Yeah, I don't really remember anything about the conversation that I needed to change. I'm sorry. It's just you. Can you tell me what we had decided I needed to change in that conversation? Do you remember? Everyone's going to think I'm a narcissist now.
Or they're going to think that I'm just a bad husband.
God, I love you.
Yeah, I mean,
we can just skip this part. Or no, we should hash it out and then decide if we want to skip it. This is so going to be an hour.
It's only been 20 minutes. Okay, so so we had a discussion where, yes, I admitted that I don't always handle things the right way because, like, they're like, well, the whole thing that we're talking about is that this is your busiest time of year, so it is harder on everyone because we have to shift gears.
Yeah.
Like, I take on more stuff this time of year than I do other time of year.
Yeah, we all have to shift gears. Like I see the difference in the kids too at this time of year.
Right.
It's very obvious.
So yeah, it's a change that we have to make for all of us.
Yeah.
Like I said, I have to take on a lot more of those
Domestic duties?
Yeah, sure. While, like, still having my full-time job that I'm working during the day and all that kind of stuff. But then, yeah, like, it does get to a point where what we were talking about in that conversation was, like, and what you were like, yeah, like, it is good that we have to remind each other.
Oh.
Like,
I do remember this now.
There was a good part.
I knew there was something. I just couldn't remember it. Okay. Now I remember.
Christopher isn't just an evil
Thank
person.
you for mansplaining to me. All right. I remember now, but you say it because you're going to be able to say it better than me.
I'm not sure that I am.
I totally forgot, but yeah, that's what we landed on.
Like, there were things for both of us were doing wrong, and both of us were doing right, and then...
But I only remember the things you were doing wrong, Boo.
Well,
you
yeah,
love
okay.
me though, right?
So, yes, I love you. Gosh. What do I say in front of people? So there are things that we agree on that we want to do. So then it's like, well, it is difficult because it's like, well, I have, like...
I remember what it was.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember exactly what it was, but you had to say, Katie, like you had to be like, whatever the thing was. You had to say, like, Katie, like, you need to stop working and come. Maybe it was like a card game, like Phase 10 or something. You need to stop working and come play the card game with us. And it rubbed me the wrong way because I don't like being told what to do. That's why I'm in business for myself. So I don't have a boss. So when somebody tells me what to do, my initial reaction is to buck back to that. Mm-hmm. But then I said my reaction was incorrect. And that, like, that's why, like, we're a team. And, like, we should be able to tell each, like, this is a goal we've set. Like, we want to, be involved as a family. And even though it is busy season, my family still comes first. And even though I don't get to spend as much time with them as I normally do, I still want to spend some time with them. And so I need that check sometimes because I can get so laser focused on what's going on that I'm like, oh, that can wait, that, yeah. But, like, I need you, like, we're a team. And we both have to tell each other when this is how we've agreed to live our life. And, yeah. And it's okay for you to tell me, like, hey, we're here. You need to come spend some time with us. So, yeah, I remember now.
Well, like, I mean, it does, the decisions that we've made in the ways that we do, and there's other things you said that I need to talk about too. But, like...
yeah, you should have had a notepad and pen because I'm just, fine. Like, all over the place.
I'm fine.
Or should we
like,
call
we've
this,
made a decision.
I have a name for this. Work, family, balance, and the creative life.
All right. Okay. Yeah, work, family, balance, and creative. Because I do have a creative job, like career, right? And so do you. And we've made certain decisions about those kind of things. Like in the area that we work, like, I could have made, in the regional area that we live. Like, there's a lot of, like, plant work. Like, I could work for Exxon or Dow or, like, those kind of things, and I could be making...
There's a lot of industry here.
And, like, that's the petroleum industry, or, like, that kind of related stuff that I could, like, a lot of guys go into, and a lot of people make 2, 3, 4 times the amount of money that I do, who are my age, right?
Yeah.
But and like that's just one of the things that I named. That's a localized industry, or I could have done any number of things. Most other things.
He could have been a lawyer. He really could have.
And made more money than I did. That's the point that I'm making. But we, together have made these decisions that like this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And that I have found a place where I am only at work for 40 hours a week. So I'm only there 8 to 5.
Yeah.
And I do have a pretty flexible schedule in terms of what I can do, which is beneficial because, like, we do need that extra income that you provide. So, like, the income that you provide is, mine's steady.
Yeah.
So it is it's the same across the board.
You get a weekly paycheck.
I get a weekly paycheck, right.
Every week.
So every week.
No, it would be nice though, is if Congress would pass some type of paycheck tax bill, so then it would be different. It'll be a little bit higher because of this coronavirus, but whatever.
Okay. Right. So I'm going to work 40 hours a week. I'm getting the same paycheck
every Friday.
Every week. I might get bonuses or raises or whatever, but like still, so like I'm work 40 hours a week. My schedule basically doesn't change, but it is pretty flexible. Like I've chosen my jobs for multiple different reasons. One of them is like now, like I work somewhere place close. I work someplace that, if I miss a couple hours one day, I can make them up the next day or like those kind of things.
Side note, also this place is very family friendly.
Yeah.
There was a place you were at before that I'm not going to name, but people are parents now that are there, so maybe they have better understanding. But they had no concept of leaving work an hour early because your daughter was in a dance recital, or no concept of that whatsoever. So that's a big deal to have a company that is like, oh yeah, you have a family, and sometimes you have to get off early because your daughter is in a dance recital. Like that's
life
kind of
decisions
basic.
That you make, right?
It's kind of basic. If you can't let your people off for their daughter's dance recital, you need to check yourself. Okay. I'm feisty now.
We have a lot of things to get to. But yeah, but it is a lot of what, like the decisions that we made have been depending on where I work, and not just the work that I'm doing, but also the atmosphere of where I'm working.
Yes.
If it's someplace that you're at every single day, then
you should be happy.
Right. So it's not. So for me, it hasn't just been the work itself.
Yeah.
It hasn't been just pursuing the cool work that I could do, or like the stuff that I'm necessarily, for whatever other thing you could think about. There's a mixture in there, and a lot of that does have to do with the fact that like we've made the decision for you that like you're going to be a photographer, you're going to have your own business, and you're not going to have a full-time job most of the year.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. I take summers off.
So one of the problems with, or the differences, one of the different problems or pressures that your job has is that in the summer you're free, you can do whatever you want to.
You get to go to the water park when it's open and coronavirus hasn't ruined it.
I'm at work every day. You're going to the water park.
I'm getting so tan.
But then,
so fun.
But then in the fall, it's your busy season.
Yeah.
So I'm still going to work every day, but then I'm also coming home and cooking dinner at night and taking care of the kids. And you're upstairs working, which sucks because it's like, well, I've been gone the whole day, and now like I want to be with you and the kids at the same time.
Aww.
But your dog's being crazy. But I don't get that all of the time. Especially in the fall, which is your busiest time, which is what we're talking about, which is what we're living right now. So it's like
y'all met us in the midst of it, folks.
So it is those things where like we've made these decisions where in general these are the things that work best for us, that we can pay our mortgage, right? Like we can pay the car bill. Like we can do all of these things and like we're limited in a lot of stuff that we can do because we're not making a ton of money, but we're making enough money. But sometimes it's harder than others. And that, like, we're not necessarily financially struggling because we've made those decisions to keep within our means for sometimes. But there's other struggles that go along with it. And for me personally, fall is always the hardest time. And then, like last year, when it starts to creep in, well, like, hey, like, me and the kids, like, the days leading up to Christmas, we're not doing, like, family stuff because you're still working. And whenever we say, like, you're still working full time, well, that means you're working while I'm home.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it's those kind of things that then play into it. And it's like, well, now this is, like, the third month of it. And, like, we, like, you know, like, this is supposed to be, like, Christmas time, right?
Which is all of our favorite times.
Right. It's all of our favorite
Christmas.
time. I build a Christmas village for you and only you. I'm kidding. It's for me, but I bought it for her. Piece by piece. But it's like all of these, it's literally October
27th right now.
27th right now. Halloween is on Saturday, which is like 4 days from now. And then, or whatever. And then on Sunday, we're decorating for Christmas.
And you know what I did in my calendar, which is a good segue into what we're going to be talking about soon, is on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, I'll mark my calendar, no plans, Christmas decorating. So in my busiest time of year, I've marked out 3 entire days devoted to converting this home into a winter wonderland.
Yes, exactly. She has. So, well, all I have to say is that, like, I don't even know what we're talking about anymore, but
I told you
that these are the decisions that we have made.
Yes.
For our lives and for them to be better, but we also then have to, like, modify them as we go along.
And that's okay.
We both have to be willing to, like, give grace to each other. And sometimes that grace means, like, the other person is frustrated, and that goes both ways.
Yeah.
Like, we should, within ourselves, be like, all right, we don't need to act that way, even if we are, quote unquote, right, or, like, quote unquote, like, this is the decisions that we've made together, and, like, we need to be honoring that, like, that kind of thing. But then we both still, neither of us live up to it, and, like, that's okay. And then we have, not that it's okay, but, like, we understand that, and then we have those conversations, and then we're, like, realize, okay, like, well,
I was being a jerk.
Normally, it's both of us who are not being perfect, surprisingly, but you still look perfect and beautiful all the time. And you're usually more right than I am. So, but
I want to have all of my arguments in front of this camera from now on.
I compliment you.
So great.
Yeah. Are we having an argument right now?
No.
But, like, that's so.
You're
those
just
are the
sleeping
things.
on the couch. No, I'm just kidding. No, like, I feel like we've had no strife at all in this conversation.
But those are the things that we do have. Those are the things we do have to work through continually as we go through, like, these decisions that we've made because of the things that we pursue. And I have other things to say, but I've been talking for a while. So,
well, I was going to say, should we come back to the beginning of what originally started this? Do we need to talk about, okay, so this is what we decided to do. Mm-hmm. This is the job I decided to do. Mm-hmm. I'm in the midst of us, of it. This is the midst of the busiest time of year for me. And I haven't even started taking Christmas pictures yet. That starts I don't know, just the week we come. Okay. That starts soon. That starts the beginning of November. Whatever the beginning of November is. And, but I haven't felt like myself.
Sunday's the beginning of November.
Okay, so that's my first week of Christmas shoots is that week.
So next week.
But I have everything together. Everything is in a box. The backdrop, and, like, I've learned to be organized. Like, I have in a box everything I need for the Christmas backdrop. The backdrop, all the props are in there. It's all there. I just have to grab it, and that's my Christmas background. And I'm about to start doing Christmas pictures. Give me stress when everything's ready to go.
Well, and we've talked about this with you specifically before, but, like, you do get stressed out anytime you're going to take pictures.
Oh yeah. Dan.
So those are just, I mean, it's that. So you get stressed out anytime you're going to take pictures, and you're now currently taking more pictures than would typically you would be.
I always love at the end of November counting how many people I've photographed. And I'll make a little post. Like, I've photographed like 650 kids. And I'm like, oh, that's a lot. That's pretty awesome. And that makes me feel good about how tired I feel. Because anyone would be tired photographing that many kids.
So, like, it's okay. Well, like, what you do is, well, guess what? Like, I'm stressed out about my work.
Oh.
Like, about both. And that's the thing. Like, I've got my full-time job and I've got, like, the other stuff that I'm doing, right? Mm-hmm. Which you touched on a little bit. Like, those things stress me out. And I don't know if I'm going to successfully accomplish them. Like, I take on work that I don't know that I'm going to successfully be able to accomplish. Like, I agree to let people pay me money or to give me their project without, like, and now we have to come up with an entire creative concept, or maybe they have it and I'm trying to meet it, or I'm having to come up with a completely original one that they will then like, and then I'm having to meet my idea.
That would stress me out so much because, people think that I give proofs.
Of course it would stress you out.
People think I give proofs because I'm such a generous photographer. And it's like, no, I give proofs to my school because if you pre-paid for this stuff, I would have a panic attack.
Right.
It's a lot less stressful if I give you a proof and then you decide if you want to pay me money or not.
But, like, also at the same time, like, neither of us have people's lives and are, like, I don't work at a plant. Like, I don't work at a petroleum plant.
You know how nervous doctors and nurses must feel?
Yeah, but they're getting paid.
Like, doctors in the ER get paid whether their patients die or not. But they also get sued, so...
Okay. Yeah. I'm not going to comment on what anybody else does or does not get. But, like, at the same... It is... I understand why it's nerve-wracking. Like, you're going to shoot children. And, I mean, it's, like... It's just different degrees, but... you're either going to, like, get good pictures or you aren't. And if you don't, like, if you took all of the pictures and they were out of focus or, like, all, but then at the same time, right, but then at the same time, I can't even mention it, but at the same time, this is your job. This is the thing people are paying you to do. And the reason people are paying you to do it is because they've seen you do it well already. And you've done it well already. And we all know you do it well. And it's just, there is work that goes into it. But again, comparing our two main jobs, like what you do for money and what I do for money on, like, a regular basis.
On a regular basis? Not what we do on the weekends for money.
Well, because, again, that's another conversation about why I sometimes, before coronavirus, was starting to do things on the weekends or nights or whatever, because, well, that's the only time I do have to do it. My job is, like, once I hit 8 hours or whatever, I'm like, oh, I'm done. See you later. And it's not like I don't ever think about it or, like, have dreams about it or anything like that. But, like, there is still that kind of, like, so that for me, like, it is I'm working 40 hours a week, 50 weeks a year, and I'm quote unquote guaranteed that, right? So anything I do has to fall into that. So, like, there's the, if you want to say the negative part of it, right, is that I have to be there 5 days a week all the time, and, like, there's not much wiggle room, right?
Right.
For you, like, in one way, for me, like, that is a burden, but it's also a relief because I don't have to think about where is my check coming from in 2 months. Like we talked about on last episode with Jordan as a freelancer. Well, he talks about this. I don't really talk about this, my side of it. Like, in 3 months, I mean, short of my, like, business closing or me being fired, I'm not thinking about that at all, right?
We know how much you're going to make 3 months from now. Same amount you made this month.
I mean, hopefully more, maybe. But yeah. Like, if anything, it would be more.
It's not going to be less. Yeah.
Right. And I'm doing the same amount of work, and I'm not having to think about where the work comes from. Now, I'm having to do it daily, and there are the problems, or, the burdens or whatever that come along with that. For you, it is, like, of course it's stressful. Like, there's the stress of, like, all of it, again, is on your shoulders. It's not just your work, it is you. Right? Like, and this, if you do feel like you did a bad job, whatever, or for no other reason, maybe one of your big clients just says, like, we're going to do something different this year, or whatever. Like, so every job you do is kind of like, I might not, like, I have to do a great job, because if I don't do a great job, then I'm not going to continue to have this job. Or, I'm not going to, in the spring or in the fall or, next year or whatever. So every job you do, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but every job you do is kind of like you're trying to save your job every single time.
Yeah, because your
job is on the line.
Yeah, I don't have written contracts with any of my schools. Maybe I should do that. Maybe that would give me more peace. I haven't really had the need for it. I don't think I'll ever do that. That just seems like put in another extra step. But yeah, you're right though, because I don't have contracts with any of these schools. It is all depending on people liking me and liking my work, and any business has to keep doing a good job if they want to stay in business.
For sure. But, like, my company, there's a lot of different points of failure.
Oh, and I think every little tiny failure is the end of the world.
Well, yeah.
Like this, those class pictures that I was 2 months late on. I'm like, this school's never going to have me come back again because I was 2 months late on their class pictures.
Well, I know. I think that I'm not, like, trying to out you or make fun of you or anything like that. There are things that I see with you that I agree with, or that, maybe the majority of people would probably say, like, they would see that as, like, reasonable things to be stressed out about. And then there's the things that, or maybe, like, the not reasonable things. However, it's easy to stand outside of someone.
Oh, yes.
And say that's a reasonable thing to be afraid of, and that's not. You do the same thing to me. Yeah. Right? We had a whole conversation where, like, if you think some of my artwork is good, I'm going to have a lesser opinion of you. And you think that's stupid. Well, like, it is dumb. But it's, like, easy for you to say, like, oh, like, he made this thing, and I like it, and that person likes it, and that person likes it. So, like, of course it's good. So, yeah, this is a difficult time for us.
Thanks for sticking with us during it.
This is, like, because it is your hardest time of year, it's all of our hardest time of year, and then that plays into both, like, of course, your work, but then also our family, and then also our relationship, but then also, it's like, we've made this, we have to keep reminding ourselves in each other, like, we've made this decision on purpose.
Yeah.
I love the fact that I work a job from 8 to 5. Like, of the many different options I have, that's like, I could think of better things I would like to be doing, for sure. And I, in the long run, maybe would hope to be doing something else other than this. I don't know if that's ever going to happen or not.
You're going to cut that on.
No, my boss just doesn't even have a smartphone. Like I would, like, it would be awesome if I could, in one sense, if I was just freelance and doing my own thing all of the time and working with bands and all of that kind of stuff. That's not the case. I don't know if it'll ever be the case. Because, again, like, that's going to be a lot of extra work on my part. That's going to be nights and weekends on my part, being able to, and, like, but we've also made the decision that, we have a family, like, or, we have kids. We have each other. You have your career. Like, there's all of these other things that we have to consider and have to work around. Of all the decisions we've made and the jobs that we do, and the place that we live and all of that are for specific reasons. And that even though sometimes that it can be like we can get annoyed or we can get angry or we can get anxious or whatever, like at the end of the day, like the good thing is that we can remind ourselves that like these are the reasons we have made those decisions.
Yeah.
And that making those decisions for reasons and having the ability to do that then helps us to be like, okay, like you were saying, like we remind each other, like maybe we both get frustrated, maybe one of us gets angry or whatever, but then we have a conversation about it and remember like, oh, like this is what we're doing, we're on the same team, we're working for the same goal, these decisions are things we've made for a reason, and like different times are tougher and different other times are like easier.
Yeah.
But they're all for the decisions, like for the multitude of decisions that like go into our life, that why we made them, like how we want our marriage to be, how we want to parent our children, like all that kind of stuff. I don't know, like is that, I mean, that resonates with you, right?
Yeah, totally.
Like it's like we can get frustrated and we can get upset and or anxious, and like the I mean, at least for me, like the good thing about it is that like we've made these decisions together.
Yeah.
And like we love each other. I don't know what we're talking about right now, but like this is just like, I mean, this is what we're talking about because our lives and our work. I mean, that is our lives. I mean, that is what we do.
I still just don't feel like myself. I think it's just because I'm sleepy.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm always sleepy, Bill. I'm like tired.
You nap
so tired.
She doesn't nap every day, but she sometimes naps every day.
I took a nap today.
But it's like some of this, like last year, right? We figure this out as we go, and it's like, oh well, we did too much this year.
Mm-hmm.
Or even say you did too much this year. And next year, please, like for the sake of everybody, don't.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would rather have less money and be able to spend more time with you. And I'm sorry that hurt your feelings, but
no.
But it's those kind of things where like, we do give each other grace. We do realize that like these are things because look, again, for instance, my job is the thing where like I don't. Like, of course, I have vacation time and stuff, but it's like those like holidays and stuff are like decided for me, and like I don't really have a busy season or not. It's just like spread all across throughout the year. But then the other things that we do outside of that, we do kind of have to figure out like, oh, like we did too much this year, or like, oh, like could we find some more to like make some more money this year, or like it's always good to make more money before Christmas, like all that kind of stuff where like. We do have to figure that out, and it is okay to figure that out as you go, and to not know everything that's going to happen.
Oh.
And to take a vacation, even if you're working and you're busy, like
it's okay to take a vacation.
I know it hurts hearing somebody say that, but
we're gonna have fun.
No, but I know, but no, like I don't like if I'm not off, I do like to be working. Like it is a difficult thing. That's a whole other topic, I guess. But like to some degree, we're both maybe workaholics.
Ooh.
I don't know.
I'll have a lot of projects for you to do when you get home from work tomorrow. Yeah. I need that shelf stained and I need that collage done.
Right. Okay. Which is part of the thing. Like. Last night we were
watching...
let's
not get into.
Oh no, I don't want to talk about you.
Well, no, we are wrapping it up. We don't need to tell another story. We can talk about that next time.
Well, just to say quickly that we do like it is a ping pong kind of thing where like we're always having to kick stuff back and forth to each other and having to realize that like we both have our own creative projects, we both have our family projects, like. There's all this kind of stuff that has to happen, and we both have to be like parents to their children and husband and wife to each other. And while recognizing that that's the more important thing that we're doing. I mean, like from our viewpoint, like those are the more important things in our lives.
Yeah.
Not our work. While at the same time realizing that
no one eats if you don't work.
Exactly. Yeah. For sure.
Mm.
So I mean, it's a unique struggle that that we have maybe compared to some other things. Which not saying that the other careers that other people have don't have their own struggles. Of course they do, and the unique parts about that. This is just what
maybe we're just all humans and we're all struggling.
Yeah, maybe time is a flat circle.
Maybe we're all just on this rat race.
Yeah.
And if none of us worked, and if we didn't have money, imagine there's no...
I know you're trying to... I know,
there's no people.
We don't have the rights to this. Imagine there's no people. Yep, that's what John Lennon said.
Imagine there's no people, just trees and ponds.
Yep. Okay, I think we've hit our limit. Good night, everybody. I promise that Katie's a good wife, and I'm not as bad of a husband as she made me out to be.
I didn't make you out to be a bad husband. You're a great husband.
Oh, thank you.
Out of all the husbands, I would say you're probably in like the top 60% of husbands.
I'll take it.
That's a joke. You're a great husband.
You're the best husband you've ever had.
He is the best husband I've ever had. Also, the best at everything.
She's sleeping. I'm sleeping. I'm glad y'all were able to listen to this conversation.
If you made it all the way to the end, let me know because I'm going to give you a star or something because this was rough. And also, we didn't give you our handles. You can follow me at My Sister and I Photography.
And I am at Krist Norsworthy Art. KRISTNORSWORTHYART.
And we are at
Just Be
Creative Pod. We're going to work on that. And we need to start posting more.
And this is 54 minutes.
Under an hour.
So
under an hour.
If you listen to this and it's under like 53 minutes, and I've significantly edited it. But if it's not under 53 minutes, I've not significantly edited it, and you realize that we were just like real with you.
We were real. No, there was a lot of stuff we have to edit out. There's some things in there that don't need to be there. All right, good night, everybody. Love y'all. Thanks for listening.
We said about